Welcome to my channel Starlight Sci-Fi Stories. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. The sky above the alien world burned with strange colors, streaks of violet and gold twisting like rivers of light across the horizon. From a distance, the city of Zarathys gleamed like a jewel, with towers taller than mountains and streets that hummed with energy. Yet, despite its beauty, the air buzzed with fear and tension. The people of Zarathys had always been proud, and none prouder than the princess of their world. Leora, with her silver eyes and flowing hair like liquid starlight, was unmatched in beauty, intelligence, and strength. But no one had dared to marry her, not because they lacked courage, but because of the consequences. Many men had tried to approach her over the years, only to vanish or return broken in body and spirit. And today, whispers filled the city. A stranger had arrived. A human. The man appeared suddenly, as if from nowhere. His ship, small and battered, had crashed on the outskirts of Zarathys. Unlike the aliens, whose forms were tall and elegant, he was small, wiry, and completely ordinary. Yet he walked through the streets with calm, unshaken steps, drawing the attention of every citizen. Children hid behind their parents, merchants paused mid-sail, soldiers stood rigid, unsure how to react. Among the watchers, Princess Leora observed him quietly. Her curiosity was piqued. Humans were rarely seen, almost thought to be legends. Yet here he was, unafraid, walking where even the bravest aliens hesitated. A guard approached, bowing low. "Your Highness," he said, "a human has come. He claims nothing. He carries no weapons, no authority." Leora's silver eyes narrowed. "Bring him before me." The stranger entered the grand hall, stepping over the polished floors as though he belonged. All eyes were on him, measuring, questioning, expecting a display of fear or weakness. But he said nothing. He simply stood, waiting. "Why are you here, human?" Leora asked, her voice echoing like wind across mountains. The room fell silent. The question was not just about his presence. It was a challenge, a test. Many had tried to answer her questions before, but few succeeded. And yet, the human said nothing. He merely looked at her, steady and calm. A murmur ran through the crowd. Some laughed nervously, some whispered that he would be destroyed. Leora raised her hand, and silence returned. "Very well," she said, "if you wish to remain, you must participate in the trials. You will face challenges that have defeated all others. Succeed, and you may earn my trust, and perhaps more." The human bowed his head slightly, accepting without a word. That simple gesture shocked everyone. He did not speak of ambition, fear, or desire. He simply accepted. The first trial was set at dawn the next day. It was called the Canyon of Shadows, a deep chasm filled with invisible energy traps that could strike without warning. Many aliens had entered the canyon, only to vanish or fall into the void. As the human approached the edge, the crowd held its breath. Soldiers whispered that he would die within minutes. Leora's eyes studied him carefully, analyzing his every movement. The human took a deep breath and stepped forward. His movements were deliberate, cautious, yet precise. When an invisible trap fired, he did not panic. Instead, he studied the pattern, leapt or dodged, sometimes improvising with tools from his small pack. Slowly, he advanced, step by step, until he reached the other side. The crowd erupted in shocked murmurs. Aliens had never seen this. He had succeeded where countless others had failed. Leora's eyes, usually cold and unyielding, showed a hint of curiosity. The second trial was not about physical skill, but empathy. In a garden of luminescent plants, a wounded alien creature was placed before the contestants. Its skin shimmered in rainbow colors, and it cried in pain that pierced the ears of even the strongest. Many aliens hesitated, afraid of being harmed. The human knelt, observing the creature carefully. He did not touch it recklessly. He whispered softly, trying to understand its suffering. Using a small device from his ship, he applied a healing technique he had learned long ago, one that combined gentle care and precise science. The creature's wounds slowly closed, and it nuzzled his hand in gratitude. The crowd gasped. None had expected this. Leora's lips curled into the faintest smile. Perhaps humans were not as weak as they had assumed. The third trial tested knowledge and wisdom. In the Hall of Ages, contestants were asked riddles about Zarathys history, culture, and laws. Many failed immediately, confused by the complexity of alien thought. The human struggled at first. Some questions he answered incorrectly, drawing laughter and disbelief from the audience. Yet he did not panic. Instead, he observed, asked questions quietly, and adapted. Slowly, he solved most of the riddles, sometimes in ways the judges had never considered. By now, whispers spread through the city. The human was no ordinary stranger. He had passed challenges that were thought impossible. Leora's interest deepened, though she remained cautious. The final trial was announced with solemnity. It was the trial of the Guardian, a massive, ancient beast, created to test strength, courage, and heart. No one had survived the encounter. The human approached the glowing arena. The beast's eyes, like molten gold, fixed on him. Its claws scraped the ground, sending shivers through the audience. Aliens whispered that it would tear him apart in seconds. The human stood still, his gaze steady. He did not brandish a weapon. He only carried the tools he had used in previous trials. The beast lunged, and the human dodged, rolled, and leapt with calculated precision. He did not fight with brute force. He observed the creature, learning its movements, predicting its attacks. Finally, he noticed something others had missed. The beast was not acting out of malice. It was testing him, reacting to fear. He lowered his stance, showing no aggression. Slowly, he extended a hand, a gesture of calm. The beast hesitated, then backed down, circling him once before bowing its massive head. A stunned silence filled the arena. The human had passed the final trial, not with strength, but with courage, empathy, and intelligence. Leora stood quietly, her silver eyes fixed on him. She had seen many attempt the trials, but none had approached them with such calm, such presence of mind. She felt something stir, a spark of admiration and curiosity. The crowd erupted in mixed reactions: awe, disbelief, and fear. Some aliens muttered that this human was a threat to their society, while others whispered that he had earned a place among them. Leora raised her hand, silencing the noise. "You have passed the trials," she said. "But this is only the beginning. To truly earn my trust, you must prove yourself in ways the trials cannot measure, through choices, through heart, through what lies beyond courage and knowledge." The human nodded. He did not speak. That silent acceptance, that calm understanding, drew the princess's attention more than words ever could. As the sun set over Zarathys, casting the city in golden light, the human stood quietly, watching the horizon. He had survived what no alien had, faced what no one dared. And yet, he knew the real challenge was only beginning. Because in a world of power, pride, and ancient tradition, one question remained: would the alien princess truly accept a human as her partner? Or would the consequences be far greater than anyone could imagine? The camera pans up, revealing the glowing towers of Zarathys under the alien night sky, and the scene fades to black, leaving the audience on the edge of suspense, waiting for part 2. The night over Zarathys was alive with quiet whispers. Stars reflected off the silver towers, and strange lights danced across the streets. The crowd had dispersed after the trials, leaving only the princess and the human alone in the grand hall. Leora observed him carefully. He was still calm, silent, and composed. In all her years, she had never seen anyone who accepted the trials, not with arrogance, not with fear, but with simple, unwavering resolve. "You surprised me," she said softly, her silver eyes reflecting the alien moonlight. "Not many survive the Guardian. Fewer still without trying to fight it." The human bowed his head slightly. He did not speak, but the way he held himself, steady and humble, said more than words ever could. "You do not seek power," she continued, her voice softer now, almost curious. "Most who enter these trials dream of the crown, of control. Why do you accept without a word?" He finally spoke, his voice quiet but firm. "I do not seek power. I came here because I did not want to run. And because I do not fear the unknown." Leora studied him. Her expression softened, though she did not let it show fully. "Humans are strange. Most would have fled, yet you face every challenge with calm. That alone is remarkable." The princess and the human spent the rest of the night walking through the city's glowing gardens. Alien flowers glimmered with colors unseen on Earth. He asked questions about the people, the history, and the culture, and she answered carefully, testing his mind, his morality, his curiosity. Despite the language barrier and cultural differences, a connection began to form. She realized that he did not judge. He observed, listened, and adapted. He did not care for titles or wealth. He cared for truth, understanding, and the lives of others. The following days were not peaceful. Rumors of the human success reached the highest ranks of Zarathys council, and not all were pleased. Some influential aliens plotted against him, arguing that no human could ever be worthy of the princess. One counselor, a tall, stern alien named Zarathys, demanded an audience. "Your Highness," he said, voice sharp, "this human is not just unworthy, he is a danger. He has no allegiance to our world, no knowledge of our laws. To allow him near the princess is to invite chaos." Leora's eyes narrowed. "He has proven himself in the trials. He has shown courage, empathy, and wisdom. That is more than many of you can claim." Zarathys sneered. "A human cannot understand us. You risk everything, including your people's respect." Leora's gaze turned to the human, who stood silently, unwavering. She felt a strange certainty forming. This human, ordinary as he seemed, had something extraordinary that even the strongest alien lacked: a heart guided by courage and fairness. The council, however, would not yield. They challenged him further. He was summoned to prove himself again, not with the trials of strength, but with diplomacy and intellect. He was tasked with resolving a conflict between two alien tribes, a feud lasting centuries. The human studied their problem carefully. Unlike the counselors, who relied on intimidation and authority, he listened to both sides. He asked questions, sought to understand motives and fears, and proposed a solution that balanced honor and survival. At first, the tribes were skeptical. How could a human, a stranger, know their ways better than they did? But slowly, they began to see the fairness in his plan. For the first time in centuries, they agreed on a compromise, and the conflict ended peacefully. Leora observed all of this in silence. Her admiration grew into something deeper. This human had not only survived the tests, he had surpassed them, showing qualities that even the most respected aliens lacked. But not everyone was convinced. Zarathys and his followers plotted in secret, seeking to remove the human before he could gain more influence. One night, the human was ambushed in the palace garden. Shadows moved, and sharp claws and energy blades lunged from every direction. The human did not panic. He used what he had learned from the trials: his observation, quick thinking, and calm mind. He dodged, rolled, and disarmed his attackers, turning their traps against them. By the time the princess and her guards arrived, the attackers were subdued, humiliated rather than dead. Leora finally spoke, her voice firm but tinged with relief. "You are unlike any creature I have known. Not fear, not anger, but strength tempered with understanding." He bowed, silent as ever. His quiet humility impressed her more than words could. Days later, in the Grand Court, the council convened once more. All eyes were on the human and the princess. Tension was high, and whispers filled the chamber. The human stood calmly, as if aware of every judgment, yet untouched by fear. Leora stepped forward, her voice resonant. "I have seen courage, wisdom, and empathy in this human," she declared. "I have seen him face challenges no alien could endure, and emerge without arrogance or malice. He does not seek power. He seeks understanding. For this, I choose him, not because he is strong, not because he is extraordinary in ways you measure, but because he is human, and humans have strengths you have long ignored." A hush fell over the court. Shock, disbelief, and awe mixed in every gaze. Zarathys' face twisted in anger, but even he could not argue against the undeniable. The council murmured, some in acceptance, some in resentment. But the decision was made. The human approached Leora slowly. He did not kneel, he did not demand praise. He merely stood beside her, silent, steadfast, and ready. "You accept me as I am," he said finally, his voice calm. Without words, without ceremony, without expectation. Leora nodded, her silver eyes softening. "I accept you, not because you are human, but because of who you are." The city of Zarathys celebrated, though some still whispered about the human's place in their society. But for Leora, and him, none of that mattered. Together, they stood on the palace balcony, overlooking the glowing city. The wind carried the light of distant stars, and for the first time, the princess felt a strange sense of freedom. "You are different from all I have known," she said softly. "And you are different from all I have feared," he replied. A quiet understanding passed between them. In a world of power struggles, pride, and ancient traditions, they had found something neither expected: trust, respect, and a connection that transcended species. Months passed. The human learned the ways of Zarathys, not by imitation but by observation and humility. He helped resolve disputes, build bridges between tribes, and showed that humans had gifts that even the most advanced aliens could not ignore: compassion, ingenuity, and the courage to face the unknown without arrogance. Leora and he became a symbol. Not of dominance, not of conquest, but of cooperation and understanding. Humans, once considered weak and irrelevant, were now seen as capable, remarkable in ways the aliens had never imagined. Their bond deepened, forged in trials, respect, and shared purpose. And though challenges remained, political intrigue, rival factions, and distant threats, their partnership endured, a testament to what humans could achieve when judged not by strength alone, but by heart. The final scene showed the human and Leora standing on the highest balcony of the palace. Below, the city shimmered like a river of light, alive and vibrant. They gazed at the stars together, and the human spoke, "Whatever comes next, we face it together." Leora smiled. Together, the camera pulled back, showing Zarathys in its full glory, an alien world transformed by the courage of a human who accepted without a word, and the wisdom of a princess brave enough to see beyond tradition. For the first time, humans were no longer myths. They were a force to be respected, a beacon of hope in a galaxy that had long forgotten the strength of a simple heart. Answer: a story that began with silence ended with understanding, trust, and a future neither could have imagined alone.